Hey, my name is Senior. I'll be doing Lab 1 as my screencast, and that's provisioning durable storage with S3. The lab contents, there'll be 9 main steps. Creating buckets on AWS, creating folders inside of them, uploading documentation into the specific folders, editing CSS and index files in the Visual Studio to point at those uploaded files, making the files stored in the S3 buckets public so that they're accessible, using a bucket as a static web host, further changing some VB code just to draw some images, editing database references so that also points at images, using MySQL, and then we'll build this solution and test it to show you where the images are coming from. So step 1 is we're going to create 2 S3 buckets, and to do that we're going to go to the AWS Amazon Web Services website. We log in, and then we look at S3, which is the storage. So you can either click down here or just type in S3 and it'll work. As you may or may not be able to hear, it is very wet today. So once we get here, we're going to create 2 buckets. Buckets have to have a unique name, and that means that if you just type in any old rubbish to get a unique name, you can quickly find it difficult to find your buckets. So be mindful of what you name them, so you can find them easier if you have lots. Because we have 2, that's not so much of an issue. Now the region you pick, I'm picking Sydney because it's close to me in New Zealand. However, although buckets are not region locked, they do affect latency because you're pulling information from that data center, so be mindful of that. Once you've given it the name and the region, we can skip over these 2. Don't worry about managing users or permissions yet, and then you create the bucket. Cool, we'll be doing that one more time for the Dino degraded or Dino store. And 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 is what I like to use because that way it keeps its kind of original name and doesn't get too confusing. Again, I'm putting it in Sydney. We skip over the other options and create the bucket. So next step is we want to create some folders inside of these buckets here. So I've clicked on Dino Resources, and now I'm going to click on Create Folder, and then you just simply give your folder a name. So Site Images is where we're going to be putting the images for our Dino Store website. No, that's where we're going to put the helicons and the logo. Product images, that's close enough. That's where we're going to be putting the pictures of our dinosaurs. CSS is where we're going to be uploading our CSS file. JS is where we're going to be uploading our JavaScript files. And configurations. And we won't be using configurations in this lab. So we have our 5 folders, and now we're going to upload something into them. So let's go to the site images. Now we can see there's nothing in here. So let's put something in there. What we're going to be putting in there is the helicon and the logo, maybe. So to do this, we go to our VB solution. Dinosaur again, content, images. And what we want is we want these 3. You can hold Control and do all 3 at once, and it will save some time. We open it, we can see them here, and then we simply click Upload. Now if we click Next, we can manage permissions and the users. Again, we can encrypt and upload. Now that they're uploaded, if we're going to be using them as a public resource, then we can make them public now and it will save us time later. So these now are up in the cloud. So if we go to our Visual Studio solution and we look at the bootstrap, Control A, so background, image, URL, so we can see where it's currently pointing, and it's currently looking at the local images in the images folder, the glyphcons. What we want to do is point it at the images we've just uploaded. So let's get rid of this blue looking stuff because it tilts me. Let's do glyphcons halflings. We click on it, it's our image, and we can see the link inside. All we have to do is copy that link out and replace the link we have in our VB with that, and we can move on to the next one. There should be a space there. That's why it's not that good. There we go. Fantastic. So, images, glyphcons halflings.png. So let's find that. We go back. Oh wait, there we go. Control C. Find it. And copy it. Double check. This is glyphcons halfling was white. You see, this is why we can't have nice things. So, let's find the halfling's white image, which is this one here. We copy the link, and we just paste it in. And the next one would be just the normal glyphcon halflings. Glyphcons? I hope I'm pronouncing that right, because that's going to really annoy people. I can feel it. I can feel it. And we paste that in. Done. So now, when we look at for the image, we are looking at the image in our S3 bucket that we've made public. So now we're going to upload the JSON script, and we're going to upload our Bootstrap CSS file into the cloud. So we go to our bucket we want to put it in. We want to put it in our Dyna Resources bucket, and let's put it in the CSS in the CSS folder. Makes sense. So we add files. As we can see, the images we're at recently, so we can go back to Dynastore. Back one more, I think. Cool. Our content. Images, bootstrap.css. Let's upload that. Now remember, every time we upload something, if we think we'll be using it publicly, it is much easier to make it public at the time than to go back and do it, because you can't remember what you have or have not made public. Well, I can't remember. So once we've uploaded our Bootstrap, we also want to upload our JSON script, and I believe there are two files we'd like for this one, and they are the jQuery.js and bootstrap.js. Let me just check that so I don't break everything. Okay, good. So we upload these, and I put them in the right place. Yeah, I think I did. Good. Click on them both, and let's make these public. Make public. Fantastic. So now that these files are on the cloud, we need to make sure that our solution knows to look for them. So to do this, we go to the index. And as you can see, it's currently pointing at the local Bootstrap and jQuery. We want to change that to point at the cloud images, well, the cloud copies of these. So let's do that. It's the same format as before. That blue, it gets me. We get the link. So this is the jQuery.js. We copy it. We go in here, we look for the jQuery.js. Yep, there we go. And paste. And there's a double S there. This problem here would have taken me hours. In fact, it probably did. Because it's always the little things, right? It's always the little things. So, we have the jQuery. What else do we want? We need the bootstrap.js. So let's copy the link to that and add that to our solution. So this is the bootstrap.js. And finally we want the bootstrap.css. and we put that in our CSS folder. Yep. And copy that and paste that there. So our solution is now looking into our buckets. Well, actually, our solution is now following this link, and this link will take them to the image, which is what we want. Now, we've already made them public because as we uploaded our images, we made them public, or our files. Now we want to go to the dinosaur degraded bucket. Now this was the second bucket we now made, and here it is here, degraded 1, 2, 3. We can click on that and we can see that it's empty. So, I want to do two things. Firstly, we want to upload the index file into here, because we've just changed the index. Why not chuck it in? So, index. Ooh, actually, now a problem I've had is I did not save the changes straight away, and then I uploaded a file before, and the files had not been changed. So even though in my VB I had made changes and I had uploaded it, I didn't save it in between the changes and the upload. Therefore I had an older version on the cloud, and it was causing me issues. Well, possibly. There were so many issues it's hard to pinpoint it. So, we upload the index, hurrah! And here it is, index.html. So, we want to make it public. Will it be... Oh, actually, I'm going to click on it. Then we want to make it public. Now, if I'm going to make... Oh, now we're making this a static web host. So, we can do that by clicking on properties while in our bucket and clicking on static web hosting, and we can say use this bucket. Now we want it to point to the index.html. Now as you can see, there was a default and the default remains, and then we save. So we are now bucket hosting. Congratulations, hopefully. So the index is in there, and the web hosting bucket is pointing to the index file we put in. Now we need to update the site1 master file in here. I hope it's called site1. There we go, site1 master file. Alright, so what we're doing in here is we are doing the same thing we did before with the links to the Bootstrap, jQuery, and the CSS. So an easy way to do this is to just take all three, because we've done the same thing in our index. We can see the names here to make sure. We go to Site Master, and we just paste them in. Easy peasy. So remember how we put the logo on? We also want to point at our logo, which is here, and it's currently looking at the local. We want it to look at the cloud version. So we're going to go find our logo in our site images, logo.png, and copy, paste. Voila. Let's save that. So now I want to go to MySQL, which is thankfully open. And we've already created our tables and we've already added our products, but as you can see, they're currently looking at the local host. We want to replace this with our cloud images. Now, I am sure there is an easier way to do this, but the way I do it is long, arduous, and painful. So I'm going to do the first few for you guys, and then I'm going to pause the video and maybe figure out a more intelligent way to do it, which I probably should have done for this. Maybe I'll add it in at the end. So, don't store resources. Product images. Wait, you want me? haven't uploaded them. Okay, so we need to upload our product images, and our product images are in our dinosaur content images, and here they are, and we upload. Now remember, as we're uploading, we want to make it public so they're accessible and we don't forget to do it later, or forget which ones have or have not been done. If we scroll down, or just have our cursor at the bottom, it'll tell us how far through we are. And we're done. Cool. So let's select everything and ensure that they are public. Now, what we want to do is we want to get the link and replace the link with replace the local link with the cloud link. So this is where I'm going to pause. I'll show you this, and then I'm going to pause it because it'll take forever. So Apatosaurus, I'm going to call him Apo, and Apo will be replaced. So let's find Apo. Wait, Apo? There he is, there he is. So, we'll delete that, and we'll place it with our Amazon link. So now instead of looking at the local host, it is currently going to look at the Amazon version. And then, once we've made our changes, so we'll continue this with each of the dinosaurs, we click apply. It'll tell us what's happening here, and we just click apply, and it will execute the SQL statement that's generated automatically when we put in the new link, and done. So let me just go and do the other 5 billion. So as you can see, we're updating the items with their links. You can probably see it in here easier, so let's make this a bit bigger for us. So our link is now gone from the local host, and we're pointing it at the Amazon web-hosted images. So once we've done, we always click apply to run the SQL script that's been generated, and well, the statement, and boom, done. So now let's test it out, right? So we go to our solution. We'll get rid of this so we can see everything. Voila. Now we're going to click on the default.aspx, and we're going to view in browser. So I've chosen Firefox because the code, it looks ugly in Chrome. I'll show you in Chrome after, assuming it works, or I'll have to start this again. Great. Slow but promising is what we like. So oh, there we go. So we can see our website. Let's inspect an element and see where is it getting this image from. And here we can see it's getting it from AmazonAWS.com. So it's currently looking at our online images right now to populate the images on this website, which is a great success. Let's also look at the logo element, which I believe is this. Let's inspect this element as well, and it is also being pulled from the dinosaur resources. AmazonAWS.com. That's the end of this lab. Well done. So, there are some tricks and traps. Firstly, naming conventions, important if you're having lots of buckets. Ensure that your region is picked with latency in mind, because if you're drawing big files from your buckets, time can certainly be a factor. Ensure that your nuggets, so if we look at our project Actually, it won't let me while it's running. It won't let me ever! There we go. So, if we look at our NuGets packages, we can see that it doesn't have many. Now, if I were to update some of these, it can affect our JSON scripts that were written earlier, namely by updating the version. This can cause a problem, namely if you're paranoid and want to follow the instructions to the letter and the numbers are different, which is the problem I had. So yes, don't update them, it's a trap. Everything else is pretty good. Ensure to make pictures, well, anything that will be accessed publicly, public as you do it. So you're less likely to forget what you have or have not done. If you can think of a quicker way to do all this stuff, that would be brilliant. But either way, I feel like you'll have to copy each URL individually. So maybe doing it as a query and just using the item ID would make reading it easier, but it's still going to take time. That's me. Cheers.